Hello students, good morning. Myself, Professor S.B. Bendigeri, Department of Economics, taking online classes for PUC second year commerce students. Dear students, today let us have a discussion on the Unit 3 from Macroeconomics. The title of the unit is Money and Banking. Here, money and banking topic is very interesting topic and also very important topic for examination point of view. And as a commerce students like you have to understand this particular topic for your day-to-day economic transactions, for your day-to-day financial matters. You will have to understand this particular topic very systematically in detail. Money and banking are two different topics here. Money one side and banking is on another side, but these two are play an important role in case of all transactions, all different payments, what we call it as, and also for the sake of economic development. And these two aspects are very much important. These two concepts these two concepts are very much important for our day-to-day financial activities. Dear students, in the beginning, let us have a look on the introduction of money. Money is one part I said and banking is another part in this particular unit. First, we have to have a look on money part. Introduction of money, what is money and functions of money. So these are some topics related to money. Now let us have a discussion on the introduction. Money is commonly used as a medium of exchange in an economy. What happened? For all activities, for every activities, the money, which is an instrument for all types of transactions, it is acting as a medium of exchange. If whatever we are purchasing and whatever sellers are selling, for all those marketing activities, money plays an important role as medium of exchange. Suppose in an economy where there is a single individual and single commodity, what happens? If there is a single individual and single commodity in the market, there is no question of money. There is no role of money in the economy. And when these individuals do not take part in market transactions, if there are no market transactions, if there is a single individual, if there are no large number of individuals, and if there are no different goods and services in the market, there is no question of money. So, money is a necessary instrument when there are large number of individuals, when there are different goods and services, when there are different market transactions. So, in those atmosphere, the role of money is very important. And also, the role of money is not necessary when they are isolated. When the individuals are isolated, then there is no role of money supposed to be isolated in the sense when the individuals are sitting in a place without any movement, and if they don't have any kind of human wants, if the human wants are not creating in the mind of a single individual who are isolated in a particular place, then also there is no role of money. It is applicable for those individuals who are having different human wants. What happens? Usually, human wants are creating one by one continuously. Wants are unlimited. If you are going to satisfy one want, automatically second want is creating in the mind. Like that, human being is having always unlimited human wants, and to satisfy those human wants, he is to have money as a medium of exchange, money as transaction purpose. So, if we don't have any kind of human wants, there is no question of money. It means what? Money is not having any kind of role in case of individuals, in case of single commodity, in case of, for example, isolated individuals, and also in case of human wants. If there is no human wants in the mind of human being like you and me, there is no question of money. And money is also does not have a role where there is a barter system. Money does not have its own role. In addition to those, money also doesn't have any role if there is a barter system in the economy. Do you know what is the meaning of barter system? Barter system is nothing but it is the system in which one good is exchanged with another. When there are two different goods in the market exchanging with one another, in that situation, there is no role of money. Money is not necessary if there is a barter system. When goods are exchanging with different goods, there is no question of, for example, money. Take the example of agriculture farmers. When two agriculture farmers like A and B producing two different food grains, farmer A is producing wheat, farmer B is producing paddy. If both farmers A and B are exchanging their own food grains by one another, when A is, for example, exchanging his wheat to B and B is exchanging his paddy to A, for example. If such is the situation, there is no question of money, there is no role of money. When money comes in that particular business, when we are fixing the price for that particular product. So because of that, if there is a barter system in the economy, there is no question of money at all. This is about the meaning of barter system. Now coming to the meaning of money. Do you know what is the meaning of money? Money is a common instrument which is used by you and me in our day-to-day life, but we doesn't know what is the exact meaning of money. The term money means what money does. Very interesting. Money means what? Money means what money does. It means what? Whatever is done by money, that is called as money. What you are doing? You are doing different activities. You are doing different transactions. You are making payments. You are receiving money from others. Whatever financial matters are there, whatever financial transactions are there, for that there is a need of money. It means what? Whatever is done in the economy through money, that is called as money, for example. It means, very interesting, money means what money does. And in other words, it is also defined as, it is the instrument which is accepted by everyone like you and me in the transactions as value terms. Everybody is accepting this metal for their day-to-day transactions. When each and everyone accepting a particular instrument, a particular metal, or a particular, for example, internal face value, valued, for example, currency, that is called as money according to economics. And this is all about meaning of money. Now coming to the very important topic of this particular aspect, that is money, for example, this concept is very interesting. I said in the beginning, immediately after meaning of money, now let us look at the functions of money. Very important question for example, 6 marks or else 4 marks in the coming examinations. Try to understand very systematically, my dear students, functions of money. It is very clear that the functions of money broadly classified into three categories. In a broader sense, money is classified into three categories. The first broad classification of money is primary function. Second broad classification of money is secondary function. Third broad classification of money is contingent functions. Now let us understand these three broader classification of money in detail. Let us have a look on the first function of money, that is primary functions. Do you know what is the meaning of primary functions? Primary functions of money in the sense, it means these functions are common in all the countries. It means what? Primary functions are quite common in all the countries of the world. What happened here? Each and every country has its own different currencies. Its own different currencies having different values. But one thing is quite important here. Primary functions of all countries' currencies are quite common. Which are the primary functions? Primary functions again subdivided into two categories. In that, first one is medium of exchange. Medium of exchange means it is used as a medium of exchange to determine the value of a commodity to overcome the problems of barter system. As I said in the beginning, money is used as a medium of exchange for all goods and services. When we are fixing a price for a particular good in the market, that is part and parcel of money itself. So because of that, money is commonly used as a medium of exchange. When money is entering into market, there is no question of barter system. A barter system, a system itself, it is disappearing from the market. Coming to the second primary function, that is measure of value. It is also act as a convenient unit of account. The value of all goods and services expressed in terms of money. To determine a particular price, to determine a value for a commodity, there is a necessary of money. So because of that, everything, whatever is there on the earth, whatever is there in the market, whatever is there in the entire economy, everything is measured in terms of value. When it is measured in monetary terms, that is nothing but the main function of money, that is measure of value. Suppose if you are going to market to purchase one pen, you are asking what is the price of that. They may say 10 rupees, 20 rupees or 30 rupees or else 40 rupees. Whatever they said, 10, 20, 30, 40, that is in money term, that is in value term, we have to calculate. This is all about the measure of value. Now coming to the second broader classification of money, that is secondary functions. Here, secondary functions has three important subdivisions. Out of it, first one is store of value. It is very interesting. Money is also act as a store of value. People like you and me can store money as wealth for their future transactions. Money must hold its value over time than any other commodity. It means what? If you are storing money in a place, it does not lose its internal value. It does not lose its face value up to a certain period of time. But if you are keeping any type of goods and services in a place, immediately after some time, there is a possibility of losing in the value of that particular commodity, the value of that particular commodity may come down. But if you are keeping money in a place for some times, there is no possibility of decrease in the value of currency on certain conditions. Okay, so here what happens? People like you and me always accept money to store in our lockers, but we can't accept goods and services like food grain, paddy, wheat, and the jowar. We can't store it for a long time. We never store it in our lockers. When it comes to money, we are accepting that particular metal to store it for future transactions. If you are committed for any future transactions, you are holding money, you are storing money rather than any other goods and services. Why? Because it has its own value, and that value is continued over a period of time, for example, rather than any other goods or services in the market. Coming to the second function of secondary functions of money, that is standard of deferred payments. Do you know what is the meaning of deferred? Deferred means future payments. Money is also acting as a mode of future payments agreed by both parties. If two parties like A and B are having a conceptual, for example, if they are having the contractual agreement between themselves for their future payments, they accept money for that. They accept money, they accept their agreements for their future payments only on the basis of money, not on the basis of other mode of transactions. So, both A and B are always believe in money rather than other goods and services. So, every deferred payments, every future payments are always made with the help of money. Now, coming to the third important function of secondary functions of money, that is transfer value. It is also very interesting. Here, it is also acts as a transfer of value as it is easy accessible to carry from one place to another to purchase the goods and services. It is very interesting. Transfer of value in the sense you can transfer currency from one place to another. You can transfer huge amount of currency in a briefcase from one place to another. It is easy accessible in the sense there is no high weight. Currency is very thin, for example. There is no thickest, for example, currency paper. It's a very thin paper. You can carry this thin currency from one place to another easily without any, for example, risk and uncertainties. But one thing is quite interesting here. You can't carry food grains for a long distance, but you can carry money for a long distance to purchase goods and services for yourself. Suppose if you are traveling to abroad, if you are going to USA, France, Japan, you never carry goods and services with you. You can carry only currency because currency is on one side it is easy accessible and on other side it is a value which you can transfer, which you can carry from one place to another easily to purchase whatever goods you want. So because of that, money is acting as a transfer of value. Now coming to the last broader classification of money, that is contingent functions. Do you know the meaning of word contingent? Contingent means these functions may or may not applicable for all the countries of the world. I said in the beginning, primary functions are applicable for all the countries. Even secondary functions also applicable for all the countries, for example. But when it comes to third function, for example, function that is contingent functions, these functions are not applicable for all the countries of the world. You know why? look at the, for example, related points, related functions for that. Coming to the first one, first contingent function of money is distribution of national income. It means what? Distribution of national income in the sense, the national income of a country is always calculated in terms of money itself. It means what? If you are going to know the definition of money, for example, the definition of national income. National income is a market or final value of all goods and services which are produced in a country in the given period of time, usually 1 year. That is called as, for example, national income. The market or final value, when it comes to value, that is always related to money itself. So each and every countries are calculating their national income only in terms of money, for example. If you are calculating national income with the help of goods and services, you never get the exact, for example, ratio of national income. You never get the exact data of national income. When you are calculating it with the help of money, or else in value terms, or else in price terms, you will definitely get the exact figure of national income of a particular country. But sometimes what happened here, if the national income is distributed in terms of money, it will be calculated. If the national income is distributed in terms of goods and services, distribution of national income in the sense, there are three classes in the society. There are three sectors in the economy, like agriculture, industry and tertiary sector. In each sector, different types of workers are there. In agriculture, laborers are there. Each laborer is never expect his returns, his wages, for example, always in terms of money. Sometimes he expect his returns in terms of kinds like goods and services. When his payments are given in terms of goods and services, that is not calculated easily for the sake of national income. So here what happens? The distribution of national income is also part and parcel of contingent functions. And coming to the second one, maximization of satisfaction. The consumers like you and me are always trying to maximize our satisfaction. When we are able to satisfy, when we are able to maximize our satisfaction, when we are paying less to purchase more. Okay, if you are paying less to purchase more, you can maximize your satisfaction. It means what? Why I said in the beginning contingent function means these functions may or may not applicable for all the countries. It means what? If we are purchasing goods, then only this function will be applicable. If we are not going to market to purchase any goods and services to satisfy our wants, this particular function is not applicable. Now coming to the third contingent function, that is the basis of credit creation. Credit creation in the sense, creation of loans, creation of money in the economy, increasing the supply of money in the economy. When all banks and financial institutions are coming forward to advance loans to the common people like you and me, then there is a question of money, for example. Coming to the last contingent function, that is productivity of capital. Here, capital is nothing but it is money or richness, for example. Okay, always capital is calculated in terms of money itself. Productivity of capital means how much you are investing and how much you are getting as a returns. It is the difference between the source what you are investing in the beginning and the result what you are getting at the end of the business. The difference between these two, the source what you are investing in the beginning of your business and the result what you are getting at the end of the day or else at the end of the business. the difference between these two can express the exact productivity of that particular investment. So that is called as productivity of capital. So these are all the various functions of money. I hope all of you have understood. If you are having any doubts regarding this particular topic, you can drop your comments in the comment box. With this, let us stop today's discussion. Thank you very much.